Today I'm making a bracelet with the Artistic wire bending jig. So we're going to need the jig, and I'm using 12 or 14 gauge wire. I also have 20 gauge wire, a glass bauble, some beads, and some jewelry glue. So we're going to take the wire, and it's very stiff, so this jig is very useful to bend the wire. Normally you would affix it to a clamp or a piece of wood with some screws that come with the kit, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to do it while holding the jig down with my hands. So you can see you could get nice little curves in the wire. There's also areas where you can do triangles and half circles as well, but I'm just using this portion of the jig for the bracelet. So this is the first bracelet I tried, and basically I ended up just doing a zigzag back and forth with the wire. Now this is a kind of a copper brass wire, so it's quite stiff, and it really is helpful to use the jig to do the bending. You can also use this jig for bending coat hangers, and it's very handy for that. So now we've just finished sort of the little curve. Now I'm using my bolt cutters to cut through it, and we're just going to cut through that end so it's flush there, and we're going to do the same on the other end. So if you're cutting, definitely don't use your best cutters. Use some heavy-duty cutters to cut the wire. And so now I'll just press that down so it's not scratchy. Just press it down. And this is a very simple bracelet. It's more like a cuff, and then you can form it around. If you have a bracelet mandrel, you can hammer it around on a bracelet mandrel. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'll just push it around by hand. You can form it around a round form as well. And that way it's stiff, it holds its shape, and you can wear it as a bracelet or a cuff. So for the second one, I just put 3 of the pegs in the jig, and I'm going to form some petals of a flower. So we're going to do the same kind of zigzag formation. We're bending it back and forth, and then I'm going to lift the wire off the jig and just move it over on the other peg there. And we're going to continue in this fashion, going back and forth. And like I said, if you fix the jig to a clamp or screw it into a wooden board, it won't wiggle around so much. But I just needed to have this underneath my camera, so I'm just holding it on the table with my hand. So you work directly off the spool is easier, so I don't waste any wire. And I just straighten it out as I go, and then just wind it around the pegs back and forth until you have enough petals on your flower. And give them a good little tug as you go around the pegs so it's nice and firm, not too much slack. And just curve it around. You could kind of rub it with your thumb to straighten it out a little bit, and then lift and move it over to the next peg and bring it around. And there, once you have enough petals, you'll remove it from the jig. I'm going to straighten the wire a little bit at the end, adjust the petals so they're lined up and they're even. You can hammer them a little bit too if you like. And then from here, we're going to get the bolt cutters again and give it a clip. We've cut it to about 5 inches. You could always cut it a little longer and trim it after. We're going to straighten out the wire a little bit. Then we're going to start bringing in the petals to form the flower. So just by hand, just pushing them in to bring them closer together in the middle. and to form the flower. And you can always get some pliers. These are my larger round nose pliers, just to help it out a little bit, to bring the petals together to form more of a circle. So just keep bringing them in. So you have one wire going out one way and the other wire going out the other way. And then I'm getting a piece of 20 gauge brass wire. It's tarnish resistant brass from Artistic Wire. We're going to wind it around a couple of times around one of the petals and one of the wires. So that's going to hold it together on one side. And then what I'm going to do now is just do any little adjustments that I have to do with the flat pliers. Have the other wire going straight out the other side. And then I have a glass bauble from the stained glass store, sort of a medium to large size glass bauble. And we're going to bring the wire right across and affix it on the other side. And then from there you can just crisscross the wires back and forth to hold it in place. We're just going to use up the wire, catching each of the petals and crisscrossing it wherever you think it would be a good position. Just going back and forth to the opposite side. And we're also using up the wire. I always cut my wire a little too long because I don't want to run out. I almost ran out on this side. So I'm just going to grab the end with the flat pliers to bring it around and then just pinch it in so it's not scratchy. Just push it right down there and keep going until we've crisscrossed and wound it around all the petals. Use your creative judgment to see how you like the look of it. And then once we're at the last petal, we'll just clip the end, remove the end there, and pinch in that pokey end. And from here, when I wrap stones, I always like to get my round pliers again, and then I do what I call a little flick of the wrist. So I hold the wire and then just turn the pliers a little bit, little half turn, and what that does is it makes it look a little more fancy with the little kinks in the wire, and it also secures the glass in place so it won't slide out. So it just tightens up the wires a little bit and it looks really nice. So just go around wherever you think it needs a little bend and just finish up with those little wires, and then we're going to twist the thicker wire around to the back to form the bracelet. Again, you can use your round pliers just to bring it around, or if you have a bracelet mandrel, you can do that as well. So just bring it in to the shape that you like. I'm doing more of an oval shape rather than a round shape. And just bring the ends in. If they need trimming, you can trim them with your bolt cutters to the right length. I'm cutting them so they kind of meet each other at the back. And then I decided to put some little beads on there. So I put some jewelry glue and I popped on a bead that had a big enough hole and just stuck it right on there. Push it right on there. And that gives a nice finish to the ends of the wire. Do any little last minute adjustments that you need. And there's your very beautiful bracelet made with the thick wire and the jig and a nice glass bauble from the stained glass store. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to sign up below, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.